Hi, Mirra. We've heard from the players, they've expressed their disappointment with the prize money at Roland Garros and kind of other issues with the Grand Slams. Aryna's just been in and said, you know, she would consider a boycott of those big events. I just wondered if you had a view on that.
Well, I wouldn't say that I have so much experience on talking about all of that. So I do think that obviously I'm just gonna play tournaments and try to really, you know, put all my work and all my focus into winning the tournaments. And for now, my focus is not about prize money for the moment. So I'm just trying to really gain that experience and try to win as many matches as possible. And that's what I'm focusing on right now.
Hello, Elena. Aryna Sabalenka was here earlier and said that she thinks at some point players will boycott a Grand Slam over the demands for greater revenue share at the Grand Slams. I wonder, do you think that you yourself would do that, or can you see the players one day boycotting a slam to get what they want?
Well, it's a tough question because we had so many things in the past where players could come together and boycott, but it never happened. And I honestly don't know. If the majority will say we are boycotting, we are not playing, then of course I'm up for it. It's not an issue, but I feel like the improvement we need to have, it's not only on the Grand Slams, and it's not only about raising the prize money. A lot of people not aware, but that there is taxes which are big. You even make more prize money, but you giving it all to the taxes, so it's a different topic. And it's tough to say about boycotting. As I said, many years we had different issues. For now, not once players really came together and did any changes.
Have you been interested in this particular subject, though, of the prize money? Like, have you participated in it, or are you focused?
I'm not participating, and no one came to me to talk about it. Not from the WTA, not from the player councils, not other players. So it's not on my mind at all.
On a different subject, I've been asking players about the smash, like the overhead, and some of them say that they think it's an easy shot that they should make 10 times out of 10, and others think it's a really challenging shot and complicated. I'm curious, you obviously, for me, the best server in the game. How do you feel about the smash? And yeah.
I would say that all the shots which look like from the side that they're easiest, they're the most hardest one, because the balls which are without any speed, even the balls on top, you think that, okay, it's so easy to put it away, but in the end of the day, it's the most difficult shot because you need to create the speed, you need to come to the ball correctly. It's not the same as the ball is coming with some speed and you're just putting the racket back. So I would say that all these shots which look like from the side they're easy, they are actually not.
We heard from the players over the last couple of days their disappointment with the prize money at Roland Garros and other issues that are ongoing. I just wanted to get your take on that topic.
Well, I mean, definitely when you see the number and you see the amount that the player is receiving, I feel like the show is on us. I feel like without us, there wouldn't be a tournament and it wouldn't be that entertainment. So I feel like definitely we deserve to be paid more percentage. And what can I say? I just really hope that with all of the negotiations that we are having, at some point we're going to get to the right decision, to the conclusion that everyone will be happy with.
As you say, you're the show. How far do you think it could go? Do you think players would ever threaten to boycott and not play tournaments?
I think at some point we'll boycott it, yeah. I feel like that's going to be the only way to kind of like fight for our rights.
Iga, we heard from players expressing their disappointment with prize money at the French Open and kind of broader issues they've got. I just wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah, I think, we've been pretty reasonable in terms of our proposal and getting like the fair share of revenues. So I think, the increase of prize money is not exactly, what we wanted, because the percentage of revenue is, going down. I don't know if I'm explaining that well in English, I'm sorry. So I think the most important thing, honestly, is to have like proper communication and discussions with the governing bodies. So we have some space to, talk and to maybe negotiate. And hopefully, before Roland Garros, there's going to be opportunity to have this kind of meetings, and we'll see how they go.
How far do you think it could go? Like, would it get to a point where players would boycott events?
Sorry?
How far do you think it could go? Would players boycott events, or?
Honestly, throughout different situations over the last years, there have been like many discussions in like top 20 group, not specifically related to prize money, but also, the war in Ukraine, and sometimes also players not after COVID, there was a bit of mess in terms of the rankings, and also prize money and points. So I think, we have more and more, we have like good communication between us sometimes. If we're really, if it's an important topic, we are ready to speak together. Also, the same thing happened with, scheduling, when the changes have been made about mandatory tournaments. Unfortunately, we were a bit late in terms of the reaction, but I think we have like pretty clear and similar vision. But, boycotting the tournament, it's a bit, extreme kind of situation, and I don't know. I guess we as players are, here to play as individuals, and we're competing against each other. But there have been like situations like that, so it's really hard for me to say how it would work, and if it's even there, on the picture. For now, I haven't heard anything.
Hey, Coco. Aryna was in earlier, and she was saying she thought that it might take a player boycott of the slams to kind of move forward in this discussion that's ongoing. Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, honestly, I kind of agree with that. Just taking what the WNBA kind of accomplished with the kind of, they also have like a union, so I think that helps. But I definitely think from my not experience, because I don't have a lot of life experiences, but from the things that I've seen with other sports, usually to make massive progress and things like this, it takes a union. So either, we have to become unionized in some way, and I think you can put pressure on media or media pressure and things like that, but if we're all showing up, everyone's gonna act as normal. So I definitely agree with her on that standpoint, and I think I've heard talks, and I think a few other players agree too.
Has that been discussed then?
I've never been a part of any real discussion regarding that, like where it comes to something as big as a boycott, but maybe they have been other discussions between other players, but I've never talked to really anyone about it on tour. Yeah.
So on that, Coco, could you really see yourself boycotting a Grand Slam one day? And do you think there is the coherence and collaboration between the players for everybody to move as one?
If everyone were to move as one and collaborate, then I can 100% see that. It's not about me or just about the future of our sport, and also like the current players who aren't getting as much benefits maybe as some of the top players are getting when it comes to just like sponsorships and things like we're making money off court. But when you look at the 50 to 100 or 50 to 200 and how much money each slam makes, it's kind of unfortunate where the 200 best tennis players living paycheck to paycheck, whereas other sports is not even this discussion, and we are profiting. So I definitely think like I said, if we all collectively agree, then yes. I mean, I wouldn't want to just be the only one because people talk about it and I'm just like, and I'll be like, yeah. And then if someone, then I'm like the only one not playing. So that's where it needs to be a real discussion. And I think that's something that us as players have to talk amongst another and do it and talk like within each other and decide what's best. But we definitely can move more as a collective, I feel like. And I feel like we are doing well, though. I don't think we're not. I think the progress we made since last year to now of just having the top 10 just all agree on something is the first, I think, that's happened in our sport in a long time. So I definitely think there's progress, but we can do more for sure.
How did you come to realize that this was an important topic for you?
I mean, honestly, when I was younger, I remember one of the first conversations people were talking about, it was actually one of my first U.S. Opens. I didn't know anything much then, so I wasn't really involved or anything. But I think when you just look at the facts of the situation and the numbers and then you talk to other players and you talk amongst each other, then you realize, oh, this is something that I think is important. And then also when you look at other sports who have done the same and how much of a massive improvement has been made for their players, and not even just like the players only, but the overall structure of the league or tour, I think is something that can be improved. So I think it's important. And like I said, not just for me, like I think this conversation can sometimes get twisted as just wanting more and more and more, but us as top players understand that maybe our voices are amplified a little bit more because of the reach that we have, but that doesn't mean that we're only doing this for us. I definitely think that there's a consensus around that this needs to be addressed for all players of all levels, especially the lower ranked players too. So I definitely think that's something that I care about, and I want to leave the sport better than I found it, and I can say I can played my part when I retire, then that's something I can be proud of.